Hello, basketball fans. Travis McCurdy here with Northwood men's basketball coach Jeff Rekeweg, previewing the 2012-13 season. Coach, you guys are coming off a real turnaround season, GLIAC North champions. Talk about what the keys were from year one to year two that made it such a great year last year.
Well, players. Doesn't matter what we're doing or what we scheme. You've got to have guys that can make plays, and leadership was huge. Cameron Joyce, after 1 year under his belt, came in and did a tremendous job leadership-wise, and we had some more talent. We needed some size, and bringing in Big G, Robertus Grabowskis, and Wes Wilcox made a big difference for us. And then just the experience factor, the guys that were freshmen and sophomores that added another year, Andrew Van Deer and Don Booker did a great job.
Now, coming into this season, you do lose Bobby Lewis, one of the best players in the league last year, first team All-GLIAC, but you've returned everybody else from last year, so that's got to be exciting to have such a large group of players from a successful team coming back.
Well, and Bobby Gibson obviously being gone, but Bobby Lewis is going to be leading scorer, a little over 16 points a game. His heart, his drive, he was a huge factor in changing the mental side of things with our players. He would get them in the gym, and that carried over to the guys that we have here and now. And so he will be missed and tough shoes to fill. And Bobby Gibson in the locker room, just a great guy, really developed a lot with the opportunities he had and made difference for us in games. So those are two guys that we'll miss. But our job as a coaching staff, the players' jobs that are here is to get better, and ours is to bring in other people that fill those spots. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
You look at your team from last year to this year, and I think probably the key player, you mentioned him, is Cam Joyce. He really, when you guys went from being good to really good, Cam took his game up to a whole nother level. And if he plays at that level this year, you guys are going to be tough to beat. Well,
for all practical purposes, he led NCAA Division II in assist-to-turnover ratio, and that's huge. Our guys did a better job on their shot selection, knocking down shots, which helped on his assists. But Cam just directing and running the show, and I really feel like he has more options this year. And, Cam a little bit getting comfortable in his own skin, understanding what we need from him, what I expect from him. And he's done that and really has matured. And you're right, he's going to be a huge factor in our success.
Taking a look at some of the other players you got coming back, like Andrew Van Deer and Donk and Booker Stoudemire, there's a big group of guys that have been here for a while now. Talk about those two and how they've evolved as players since you first arrived.
Well, both of them are very athletic and are gifted athletically. I think they both have gotten mentally tougher, physically matured more, and probably Andrew needed it physically more than even Booker. Book's one of the strongest guys we have on our team. But understanding the game and understanding team play, taking pride in defense. One of the things coming in, people told me, is Andrew couldn't play defense. Well, there's no doubt with his athletic ability, he can play defense. He's got to decide he wants to play defense and have confidence in it. And he's been one of our most consistent guys now, even early in practice. But last year there were times that he was guarding one of their better players. Book finishing at the basket consistently. I mean, he's able to get to the rim. Sometimes he bailed out. I think he's done a better job of finishing consistently and getting that toughness and fight. As physical as he is, too, he's going to have some injuries and being able to be mentally tough enough to fight through that. And I think he's grown a lot there also.
You got a lot of other returners coming back, Wes Wilcox, Robertus Grabowskis, various other guys. Talk about who has stood out so far in practice besides the usual suspects.
Well, I think take both Wes and G, Robertus. Wes definitely was focused on getting stronger and came in shape. And in practice, just the things he's done, with shot fakes, getting to the rim. But his strength's been a huge factor. I don't think there's anybody in the league that's stronger than Robertus Grabowskis. And he came in even stronger, worked on more of his lower body strength. He had pretty good upper body strength last year, tends to use a lot of his upper body with everything he does first instead of footwork, and that's something we've worked really hard with him. Free throws, obviously Robertus really struggled from the free throw line. He's going to get fouled a lot. We worked with some things technique-wise at the end of the year last year. He comes in now, and you could really, literally, and I'm not exaggerating, do a video on his free throw and how good it looks. And that, you got to give the young man credit for working on that. So those are two things, or two guys, and some of the factors that are huge with them, and Wes on his leadership also.
You also have a large group of newcomers. Talk about those guys and anybody in particular that stood out so far.
Well, out of the freshman class, we've got a young man that we think will help to fill some of the void with Bobby Lewis out of Indiana, Morristown, Indiana, Dylan Langcable, who scored over 2,000 points in his high school career and averaged over 27 his senior year. That is, he's a gym rat. He's a lot like Bobby Lewis. That kid, Dylan, when he's in the gym, has just a different type of focus than your average basketball player, and he's doing a nice job. And he's not always scoring a lot in practice, but he understands the game, and he's doing a great job with that. Casey Boyle, 6'9", kid from Illinois, that has got to guard Big G every day in practice, and G's elbows, and he's getting a baptism by fire, and Casey has not backed down from one challenge, and he's a young man that every time I see him I like him better. And then some guys that haven't been around a lot, or you haven't seen a lot from. Adam Taylor was battling a little bit of an injury. He's back from last year. Joe Ruhlman had back surgery. He's back and doing a great job in practice. Will Bowles, we redshirted last year, that is going to be a big X factor for us. 6'7", athletic, runs the floor. Another Michigan kid, just does a tremendous job. And in practice, Martez Asbury from Detroit Douglas, who will not play. We're going to redshirt him this year, but in practice makes everybody better. Tony Johnson, another local kid that understands the game and has worked really hard on his defensive footwork, because that's really the only thing that's keeping him from getting more time is just what he needs to work on defensively. And I'm just really pleased with their effort at this point.
You take a look at your schedule, and I know you guys are playing as many D2 games as anybody in the country this year, and it's going to be a real challenge for your team.
Yeah, we're playing 26. We're allowed 26 regular season games. We're playing 26 Division II teams. There's nobody in the country that can play more Division II games in regular season than what we're playing, and 3 out of the first 6 games that we have are in the top 20 in the country. Our first home game is against Winona State, who's won a couple national championships and is preseason number 11 right now. So it's going to be a tremendous challenge for our guys, and will put us we'll at least know where we stand on a national level, and put us in position to get not only regional recognition, but we've purposely, scheduling-wise, put ourselves in that position where if we do what we think we're capable of, we'll get recognition regionally and on a national level.
I mentioned this to Coach Curtis earlier too, but it's kind of a broad question, but what kind of goals, what do you want to see this team accomplish this season?
Win a conference championship. I mean, there's from day one coming in, and what we preach to our guys is we are competing every single day for a conference championship. Obviously, then you've got the conference tournament, which we've got a taste of for the first time in a long time. Last year, went out in the first round. So we want to do well in the conference tournament, want to make the national tournament, and want to compete on a national level. But the number one goal is to win the league outright. And our guys got a real taste of winning and an understanding of what it takes to win in this league night in and night out. We had some tough losses last year that really hurt. Some great wins, but some tough losses, especially at home, that you need to take care of business, and we didn't do a great job of that at times. So, and that's part of the maturation process, and I hope that we've taken that step. Everything I've seen to this point is that they understand it, and that's what we're working on.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us. Good luck this season, and appreciate everything.
Appreciate the time, Travis.
And thank you for watching.